Arsenal, Man City. Who wins this epic encounter? This game, it's been a long time coming this season. City and Arsenal have been going toe to toe in the Premier League all year, but are yet to face each other in a Premier League game. And it's February. This is, of course, being created because of the passing of Queen Elizabeth back in September. It had some games cancelled, it had some games moved around, and this title, maybe not decider, but this important title game has been moved. We now get to see the two best teams in England go head to head. We now get to see the two best teams in England spar, fight it out, and demonstrate to us who is going to be the best team in the land. And I think this game cannot be underestimated by anybody. You will probably see fans from both clubs try and play this down as there's still going to be, 15 or so games to go. This isn't the be all and end all. We can still recover if we lose this match. And of course, mathematically, they're absolutely true, but you will be discounting the psychological element of the game. And I think too often football fans play down psychology, they play down mentality, they play down confidence in the makeup of a team. As good as a team can be with its structure, as great as the culture can be, as brilliant as the technicians on the field the technical ability they may possess on the field is sensational. The mentality and the confidence of a team, coupled in and surrounded by the psychology, is so important. And this game represents that in every single which way. Now we're going to delve into that. We're going to touch on the game a little bit more. Make sure you're hitting the like and the share button, leaving your comments below. Also, scan that QR code on the screen and come and follow our TikTok account. We're also talking Manchester United today on here, and a big bid in from Qatar, 450 billion pound wealth investment company coming into Manchester United. We're going to talk about that all a little bit later, so stay with the show this morning. But in terms of the big game tomorrow, it's an enthralling one for me. I'm going to obviously give you my predictions on what's going to happen. But when you look at the two teams, it's going to be an epic encounter. There's an argument that both should put on a low block and counter, because I think both City and Arsenal have been susceptible this season to teams shutting them down and counter-attacking against them. Brentford did it to both of them as an example. Manchester United did it to Arsenal earlier on in the season. But of course, this is at the Emirates. There is going to be a pressure upon Mikel Arteta's men to be the aggressor. They want to play on the front foot. They want to press hard, win that ball back in the transition. They want to try and pass through Man City and beat them essentially at their own game. And I understand that the want and need for that. From a City point of view, they'll want to dominate the ball. They'll want to be aggressive, use their flanks, get that ball in early to Haaland and try and score. But of course, that leaves them vulnerable to Arsenal in the transition. That's what makes this an enthralling encounter. Will there be a curveball thrown in by either manager, a masterclass tactical change, or could there be some galaxy braining going on? Could one of these coaches try and throw a curveball but end up derailing their own team in the process? And we know that Pep Guardiola certainly has form of doing that. There's some key matchups in this. It will be dubbed De Bruyne versus Odegaard, and of course, we'll be looking at which individual comes out on top. But can the likes of Rodri and Gundogan stop Odegaard, who has been sensational in the vast majority of games this year? Equally with KDB, will Partey be able to stop him from dictating the play and getting those balls in to Haaland? Haaland himself represents an amazing battle that he'll have with the Gabriels and Salibas. I can imagine him trying to pull on Saliba and try to kind of bully him in the same way that Ivan Toney did. But equally, can the Arsenal centre-backs wind up Haaland? I don't think Haaland responds that well to being roughed up, wound up, and made to feel uncomfortable. So that is also going to be a sensational battle. And you've also got Saka. Saka on that right-hand side, he's been one of the best players in the world in the past 12 or so months. He's been phenomenal. Pretty much his entire career for Arsenal. That can't be denied. But a big game is going to be needed from him. And on the opposing side, Martinelli, does he start or does Trossard come in to give a little bit more width to this Arsenal team? there's lots of conundrums, there's lots of questions, and nobody really knows. Everybody will guess, and everybody will say the same thing. I know what Arteta's gonna do. I know what Pep's gonna do. I think Pep's a lot harder to judge than Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta will pretty much pick his best team. Maybe Trossard comes in for Martinelli. Aside from that, I think it'll be pretty much as is in relation to that. But how does the game go? Well, there's something that Arsene Wenger put out, and I want to read this out to you here. Arsene Wenger said that let's not miss this opportunity. Wenger warns his old club Arsenal they will not get a better shot at the title in future seasons and insist the usual threats besides Man City are already out of the running. And I get where Wenger's coming from. I disagree slightly. We have no idea whether Arsenal will improve or not in the summer. They could go to an even better and more consistent level, but they can't let this opportunity slip through their fingers. And I think that's the key message from me here to Arsenal fans is drop the VAR stuff, drop the victim mentality, drop this psychology that's come in the last few days around, well, actually, top four was the target this year. So even if we lose, we're going to be okay. I think putting that mindset out there into the players, into the dressing room surrounding Arsenal is negative. It should be, we want to see this win. This group of players, Arsenal haven't beaten City in the league for a long time now. This wouldn't just be hugely important to Arsenal's confidence. It it will have a massive effect in the title race in terms of belief. And on top of that, City are already scared of Arsenal. That is why they're allowing no more transfers to Arsenal. Their own coach conceded the league to Arsenal essentially a couple of games ago. They've caught a little bit of life with Arsenal dropping points in their previous two Premier League games. But this is an opportunity for Arsenal to kick the stuffing out of Manchester City and an opportunity to turn around and essentially not completely nail the final nail into the coffin of the Premier League season, but to put themselves at such an advantage. However, though, Arsenal need to not become complacent in this game. Be be careful. Okay, don't be too careful, but don't be careless either. They've got to push hard, they've got to press hard, they've got to fight. But don't leave yourselves overly exposed because Man City will hurt you. And if Man City win, the fear factor of Arsenal from a City perspective will diminish because they'll be level on points, I believe, unless I've totally got that wrong. You know, sometimes you say something and you want to go and check it out. Is there 3 points difference now? Yeah, three, but they'll be level on points, ahead on goal difference. Arsenal will have a game in hand, but the psychology will be, well, but we played them at the Etihad and we've just beaten them here. We'll beat them there in a few weeks. We're finding our wings again. Arsenal cannot allow Man City to catch life. They cannot allow Man City to come out and be all guns blazing. They've got to reinstill the fear and the scare factor back into this duel this season. They have to do it, Arsenal. Arsenal have to be the aggressors. And I think Arsenal, in terms of winning the Premier League title, this is the most pivotal moment of the season for them. And I'm very excited about it. In terms of the score, 2-1 Arsenal is what I'm predicting. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't think City have no chance. I think City have a great chance in this game. They're Manchester City. They cannot be written off. But I do think Arsenal, with their mentality, will just get through. I think they will just get through. I believe they'll come out. And when I say scrape, I think it will be a fairly late goal from Arsenal that wins it. Arsenal take the lead. City will come back. It will sit at 1-1. Somewhere between the 80th minute and the 90 and the final whistle, Arsenal will get that winner. It will be a close affair, but I think Arsenal will come out on top. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings, people. Hit the like and share button. Up next, United bid from Qatar. Qatar will bid for Manchester United in its entirety. The Qatar Investment Authority is a $450 billion sovereign wealth fund that owns the Shard and Harrods. That Shard and Harrods bit. Remember, before people start like moaning about football suddenly having all this money in it, just to research what other things these people own and what people get involved in. This bid it has been it hasn't been formally made yet because the bids won't be placed in front of the potential in front of the sellers as of now, but they have lodged this bid with the Rain Group. Qatar want to buy Manchester United. Now, of course, there are some legalities to sort out behind the scenes. Who will actually be the owners? Who is going to be representing Qatar in this because of the conflict of interest with Paris Saint-Germain? But that's very likely to be resolved. Further part of the article here from the Telegraph says, as it stands, there is no bidder for United as powerful as the sovereign wealth fund from Qatar, created in 2005 to use the wealth generated from the Gulf's vast oil and gas reserves to diversify the country's economy. The only other declared interested party is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, one of Britain's wealthiest individuals. A number of US private equity groups have looked at a full takeover or minority investment. Qatar is by far the biggest bid for Manchester United so far. And to break this down, this is scary and worrying times for rivals and exciting and brilliant times for Manchester United. There will, of course, be kickback due to the backlash that is always received from Middle East investment into the UK. Or let me rephrase that: Middle East investment um, into um, into um, uh, into football. It's never really into it's there's never really a problem when it's anywhere else. You saw this in the World Cup. Germany with the hands over their mouths, protesting against Qatar and human rights violations. At the same time, the German government doing a big deal with Qatar to lower energy prices. So, as I say, for me, I kind of I want to make sure I kind of look at this from the right perspective. There are question marks hanging over them, but they're investing in so many other parts of life. I don't like to be a hypocrite. I don't like the hypocrisies that come with complaining about this. When nobody wanted the Saudis to invest in Newcastle, but yet people use Starbucks and people use Boeing jets. I think people want to pick and choose and virtue signal when and when not to enjoy and like certain things. But in terms of Man United, look, listen, it means debt will be gone. It means stadiums will improve. It means training facilities will become better. More money will be available for transfers. All of that is amazing, and United, with their own commercial income, will blow everybody into insignificance financially when this deal happens. But the most important thing is for the board to be operating correctly. The most important thing is for the new owners to ensure that the right football heads are running the football club. That is the most key and fundamental part of this takeover. Who will be running the club? And as long as best in class, best available football minds run the football club, and the sole aim or the main aim is to create the best football team in the world, all the commercial branch offs and investment opportunities are a second place thought. The most important thing is to become the best team in the world. Then Man United are rising back to the top. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. And there's no I I'm very, very excited indeed about this. It's 17 years in the making of getting rid of the Glazers and owners that will remove this debt that's cost Man United nearly £2 billion of its own money in the last 17 years. £2 billion, and then a bunch of bankers that had no idea what they're doing for the last 10 years running the football club. And we've seen just this year, you put some football people in charge of running the club. And although it hasn't been perfect, look at the improvement inside 8, 9 months. Imagine that with no debt, even more money, brand new facilities, new culture and ethos and kind of structure at the club, coupled with even better people in the football world running it. United won't win every trophy every year. Of course, they will not, but they'll be in the hunt, no doubt. And this is massively important news. Keep your eyes out for further developments on this. But viewers, listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I want your comments below about the Qatar bid for Manchester United, and of course, the big preview for Arsenal versus Manchester City. Hit the like and the share button, subscribe to the Football Terrace, and we'll see you all again very, very soon.